And here's Module 3, the elements of visual art. You'll find in this module, in the organizer, 2 videos that will describe for you the 7 elements of visual art. You'll be able to use these elements when you make an analysis of any work of visual art. It'll give you, again, a standard to compare different works to, just as the elements of music were useful in that same way. After you get done with the elements themselves and do one of the self-assessments, the try it, that'll give you a chance to practice with some of those terms, then you'll also find in this module a sample analysis of a work of visual art. So you can see how someone applies those terms as they're looking at a brand new piece of art and say, oh, now I see how I can analyze it. You'll also then be asked to do several post-test activities. You'll have 2 reflection papers to write for this module, and you'll have a quiz including definitions of terms, and on that quiz also will be a selected list of works, visual artworks, that you need to know by their artist name and their title. And those works are also listed out for you in the organizer for Module 3. As you examine these works of art, you might take a second and think, well, what is art? Is art a painting? Does it count as art if it's sitting in a museum? Or what if it's on somebody's refrigerator? Can that be counted as art? Can you count as art something painted by an elephant? Can you count as art something that's not permanent? Does it have to be permanent for it to be art? Well, just as with music, it's not until the 20th century that we get a really broad definition of visual art that incorporates all of the art examples that you might encounter in the human experience. And that definition of art is visual art. If you designate it as visual art, then it is art. One way to designate something that way is, for example, to put a frame around it. You could take a picture frame and say, I put a frame around it, so it's art. No matter what's in it. Well, it could be the Mona Lisa. That's art. It could be nothing at all. You may have noticed this very popular trend in decorating to hang picture frames on the wall with nothing there, and it allows the viewer to consider what could be in this space, or just to admire the really beautiful wall color that you chose for your living room. That's art. You could even take an object that was not originally meant to be art, like a toilet, and sign your name. Give it to a museum and say, it's art, it's making a statement. That is actually true, and it actually did happen. So, the definition of visual art is perhaps much broader than, well, I like to look at it, so it must be art. Keep that in the back of your mind as you tackle the different tasks listed out for you in the organizer for Module 3. You get to work, and I'm going to continue to see if I can learn to use those elements of art in a really practical way. Well, I don't know. I'll keep working on it.